And hey, we got right now, it's the protein break with the cartoon guy, Keith Billis, here this morning on Mornings in the Lab. Jory Jansen's joining us, the protein break, where we take a moment to fuel you with some real knowledge that can help you power through your day. And today, Richie, looking at you again, brother, we're diving into a topic that every endurance athlete, yes, you, Rich, yes, you, Robbie Britton, you need to pay attention. A healthy gut. And we're welcoming back our resident nutrition expert, food expert, Jory Jansen. Love having Jory in the lab, whether you're hitting long distance runs, cycling, or pushing through a triathlon. That gut can make or break your performance. Let's get into it. Jory, how are you today? And when we talk about the guts with endurance, we're always thinking about muscle, stamina, recovery. But Jory, what about the gut? I get the suspicion that it's always overlooked. Jory, let's talk about the gut.
Okay, I'm trying to be serious. I love the cartoon figure, but the gut is so important. It's now I'm focused. It plays such a huge role. It's known now as our second brain, right? It has so much communication throughout the entire body, and when that part, our second brain, is not functioning well, then everything else is not going to function well. And when you think of endurance athletes, wow, yeah, it's the difference between competing, hitting the run, or you're having the runs. So you really have to take care
I like that.
or you're going to have a big mess. And so what I find with athletes is that because they're so hardcore and they're so hard on their bodies, more than someone like me that I exercise, go for a bike ride, I'll jog. That's more for my health. It's not for this podium performance. And when you're focusing on a podium performance, that's stress, that impacts sleep, that impacts how you digest or don't digest food. So there's a lot of things that need to happen outside of showtime that helps, so that way you're more likely to be able to perform. And so if we take a high level athlete or the general population, what you do outside of showtime is really important.
So, Jory, let's break it down for the audience paying attention right now. So there's 4 reasons why gut health would be crucial for endurance athletes, right? And Johnny, you too, brother. So nutrient absorption, inflammation control, immune system boost, mental clarity and focus. Is there anything I missed there, Jory, in terms of those 4 principles you'd want to pay attention to when it comes to gut health?
I think that pretty much handles everything in life. Yeah.
But some folks might say, is gut health really that important? I've gotten by my standard nutrition for years. It seems to be fine for me. I don't need to focus on my gut health. Why now? Jory, are we talking more about gut health than we ever have talked about gut health?
Because it's linked to everything. It's absolutely linked to everything. If we're looking at the increase in cancers that are happening in the gut, that's at a high level. If we're looking at irritable bowel, if we think of Crohn's and colitis, celiac disease, like all of this is inflammation, right? And if we're not looking at the health of the gut, which is where our immune system is, it's where we absorb key nutrients. So if all of that, if we're eating and we have a bunch of inflammation in the gut, we have these microvilli that help absorb nutrients. And when everything's inflamed, they go flat. So what happens is these nutrients have nothing to get into, and it shoots through us. So now we can become deficient in nutrients. And as a high level athlete, especially endurance sport, if you don't have your B12 stores, if you don't have your iron stores, you're not going to perform well. Never mind just having enough calories. I think in North America, we generally can easily get our calories, but if we're not getting the nutrients, then that's going to impact overall health.
Yeah. Keith, when you opened up by saying, what about the guy that says this? That guy doesn't know how bad he feels because he hasn't felt good yet.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So I had a question. Yeah. So Johnny, I had a question for you. So somebody who eats a high protein diet like yourself, if your gut isn't working right, you're not working at your best. How do you, as somebody who's been an elite level athlete for all these years, how have you managed gut health, and how have you made it play a healthy role in your training and recovery, John Anderson?
Jory brought forth a really important element that most people have no clue of, is that the stomach gives us, other than the brain, the stomach gives us more signals than any other organ in the body. And when you tune into that, it gives you such a roadmap. It's unbelievable in terms of how you sleep, your energy levels, how you perform, your clarity of mind. And when your gut health is in check, there's a cascade of positive shit that happens to you. And when you understand how you feel when all that is in line, you don't want to go back, nor would you nor could you function at the same level if your gut health is turned upside down. So a huge chunk of me navigating what I've done was literally just listening to the signals of my body. And when you it's like when you walk if you walk through the forest, you can hear the few birds and this, that, and the other. But if you walk into the forest and you say, I'm going to intentionally listen to the forest, you'll be blown away with all the sounds you're going to hear. Start intentionally listening to the signals of the stomach, and you're going to hear a whole lot more than you ever thought was even there.
Yeah. So Shinku had a question, actually, and I got some. So as we wrap up the segment here, Jory, let's talk solutions. If you're an endurance athlete, or maybe just Shinku tuning in right now, or Arm, or one of our awesome guests tuning in right now, if you're somebody looking to improve gut health, and I hear this from Johnny and Marty every single day, so I'm actually going to get these guys aside for a second, because what they're going to put up here is the same thing you're going to say. But I want to hear a fresh voice.
Sure.
What are some actionable steps for somebody to take to improve their gut health?
Okay. So one of the easiest things is start making sure you're well hydrated. People forget about the simple tools. So start drinking your fluids, mostly water. That's number one, because we can get overwhelmed with all of the things that I'm going to list today.
Yes.
Start with one thing. Let's start with hydrating. That impacts everything. Another thing is to make sure that you're getting pre and probiotics in. And these are just fancy words for foods that we can consume every day.
Yes.
So you need the prebiotic to help, so that way it feeds the probiotic. And prebiotics are things like garlic, onions, bananas, asparagus. So these are foods that you can find everywhere. Find ones that you like. You can Google it, ChatGPT, whatever. You can find a bunch of them. And then you need the probiotics. So we know a lot of these: kefir, yogurt, anything that's fermented usually can help with that. Now we don't know the exact amounts.
Yeah.
But certain probiotics will help with certain symptoms. And there's a whole whack of symptoms, right? So there is something that's called the Probiotic Chart Canada that you can go look up, and you can find all of these probiotics that help with gut health depending on the symptoms, whether you're having migraines or IBS. So finding those things is really helpful. Creatine monohydrate might also be beneficial to the gut. So that's something that both men and women can look at consuming. It's not just for a quality workout and performance, it's also for gut health. L-glutamine, you can get that from food sources, or you may need to supplement. But the key is to start with just a balanced meal plan. And if you don't know what that looks like anymore, you can consult with a registered dietitian that understands gut health. If you're looking for sport performance and gut health, then find a dietitian that also has gone on to do the education of sport, because there are some other complications there too, because you can't just rest the gut all the time. What you're doing in performance does irritate the gut.
Yeah.
So diet hydration, I think, is big. Getting enough sleep, because we're all trying to decrease inflammation. And when we lack that sleep, that interferes with gut health too.
And it's interesting because I know I hear every single day, and I love it because I hear every single day from Johnny and Marty, and I'm not going to do their voice impressions right now, Richie, but
come on, man.
Drink lots of water, stay hydrated. So these boys they compete with how much water these two guys drink. Johnny, if I hear
you got me today, John.
Yeah. Jory, one of the things that I know you were gonna throw on the table as well, but it's limit processed foods, right? Focus on nutrient dense, whole ingredient foods. John,
well, she didn't mention one bit of processed foods in what she was talking about getting in.
Yeah,
it's for those of you that didn't catch that, she only mentioned single ingredient foods.
Yes,
she wasn't saying make sure you eat your protein bars and make sure that you eat this processed food. She's talking about shit that gets in your system, that digests well, that helps the gut health.
And alcohol, inflammatory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a big
one. Yes. And late night trips to Burger King and McDonald's after the alcohol at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. So, gentlemen, if you want to call Marty, Richie, or John on Sunday because you want to do some physical fitness activities, don't go for fucking food at 2 o'clock in the morning after you've been
watching my podcast,
and then complaining about the gut health, right? So,
the other thing, though, just real quick, is that athletes are a little bit like high performing athletes are they're a lot different than general population. You do at some point need to consume a lot of simple sugars, right, for performance. So what you're doing before and after competition is really important to help heal the gut. because in order to perform, those carbohydrates and quick acting carbohydrates have to be consumed for sport at that level. So it's what you're doing before and after to help with the recovery process is important.
Awesome. I'm going to bring Christina up on stage here in a second as well here, and we're going to get to the personal brand bite here in a quick second. But we got some comments from the feed here, Jory. I want to quickly throw on stage here. But Arm says, I have to say that gut health is the only reason why I'm still alive. I still have no diagnosis from puking since 13 and fatigue since 16. And this is chronic, both from docs and they say they don't know. So clearly gut health is a thing for people. And Shinku says, what's a good supplement? Hey, Shinku, that's a good supplement. Just whole nutrient dense food. Jory, John, just eat whole good foods, and that's going to be probably the first step forward.
It's the easiest one. It's the easiest. Eliminating processed food is the biggest hurdle for most people. And if you can do that, then everything that Jory said is just like a turbocharger.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Jory.
And I think,
go ahead, Richie, go ahead.
no, you know, and I think the number one start is removing complex carbs, like removing complex sugars. If you can do anything right now, just get rid of that. Man, I can tell such a difference if I like go eat a donut and how sore I am later.
Oh, interesting. So while one would say the donut, just that quick fix of fuel, your body gets sore from having it. Just, you don't feel very good, do you?
Inflammation. No, man, you get more inflamed with those sugars. So instead, right after a workout, I make sure that I have a 3-to-1 ratio of carbs to protein, but I'm looking at fruits, right? Fruits, what I eat.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Hey, Jory, Arm says, is lemon slices in water with chia seeds bad or good? Just thought I would ask for the pro Jory while she's here.
That's an interesting combination. I would say if you enjoy it, go for it. Chia seeds, great for you for sure. The omega-3s, the extra protein, that's great. Water, obviously fantastic. The lemon is, if you enjoy it, for sure. Just be careful with the ascorbic acid and your pearly whites. Keep those healthy. But if you enjoy it, go for it.
Awesome. And we got a mom here on the show here. We got Christina Flynn here. Christina, you're hearing a lot of these things thrown on the table by Jory and Johnny. What do you take from this conversation about gut health before we move into the personal brand bite with yourself, Christina Flynn?
Gut health is one of those areas that we don't talk enough about, and it's really nice to see more people talking about it. I think something that is really interested me with gut health, which we don't have time to talk about today, but like similar to how we don't talk about our nervous system, that connection between our gut and our brain. And I've had people say to me a lot of times, like, think about gut when it relates to your mental health and your mental wealth as well. There's a connection there. Again, we don't have time to go into it today, but these are kinds of things that we want to be talking about in conversations we want to be having, because it's not just the same old. And we know that oftentimes in the past, new research shows itself, and we have to actually change up what we've been doing. It's not the same as what we were raised with by any means.
Yes. So listen, if there's one thing you can take from today's protein break, it's that gut health, regardless if you're a cartoon character or a real human, isn't just a side thought. It's a foundational piece of your performance as a human being. So listen, take care of your gut. That's just what just take care of your gut. Eat good foods, get some good sleep, and drink lots of water. So listen, drop a comment below with your favorite gut-friendly foods or supplements, and don't forget, nation, Mornings in the Lab is live every single day at 8 o'clock Eastern time right here. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We bring our friend Jory into the lab. Marty, what's this? Yeah, Jory Jansen joining us every Monday.
She earned that one. She earned that one.
She absolutely earned it. Yeah. The GOAT, Jory Jansen, our nutrition expert. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. And hey, we got this sound coming up here. It sounds a little bit like this. And when we do this sound, it initiates a twitch by our friend, our coach, Christina Flynn. Jory, have an awesome day.
Thank you, Jory.